I'm JD. Um, I'm here today to tell you about myself, where I come from, where I'm at, what I plan to do with my life. For those of you that don't know, I am 2.5 years sober, um, which is a big deal if you know me. Like, it's a really big deal. Um, and that's from multiple different things. It's not just one thing, it's multiple things. Um, and it's kind of crazy for me to think about that I have been sober this long. To give you a little bit of backstory, I led a pretty shady, pretty jaded life up until about 2.5 years ago. I was involved in things I shouldn't have been involved in. I was doing things that could have potentially ended my life. I was a horrible dad at the time. Then I was I was dating this girl, and she had to get clean, and I didn't want her to have to struggle with me using while she was getting clean. That was my main reasoning at the time, because at the time I didn't understand that I shouldn't be doing it for anybody else but me and my daughter. That being said, I did good for a little while, and then I got myself in some trouble with the law. I had a moment where my judgment was horrible and old habits kicked in, and I made some really bad decisions, and I could have potentially ended the life of myself and somebody else. I could have left two daughters without parents. That in itself was really, I don't want to say traumatic, but it kicked me in my face as to I needed to change my life completely. With this trouble I got into, I ended up having to serve time. I had to go away to prison. I had to leave my daughter and everything that I loved. Now, while I was out on pretrial, I started talking to some people who both worked in my local recovery center, still do, and people that were getting help from it, going to meetings, going to groups. And we just started talking about it, about the recovery and the community. And I'm not a public person, I'm not a people person, but I'm very real and I'm very honest about things. And I was told, hey, maybe you should look into becoming a recovery coach. Because I think with how honest that you are and the way that you see things and the experiences you've been through, that you would do okay at this. I hummed and hawed at this because for a long time, I had no self-worth. I had no self-esteem. It was just, everything was the end-all be-all. It was horrible. Bad time in life. Most people will understand if you're watching this. But then I started looking into it, and I realized what exactly a recovery coach did. Like, I thought I would have to completely change everything that I was and who I was and become something I wasn't, when that's very much not the case at all. Like, if I were somebody coming into a place like this who's unsure, I would look for the person who reminded me of me, because I know they're probably going to relate to me. So that brings me to, I was getting information while I was incarcerated about becoming a recovery coach. And I missed the deadline while in there by 2 days. 2 days I missed the deadline to enroll, or I would already be a recovery coach. That being said, I got out July 1st of this year. And I'm on a year's probation. So I started coming here to the recovery center and volunteering because it gave me something to do while being surrounded by good people who aren't going to put me in a negative state of mind. They weren't the old crowd. They weren't the crowd that always tried to get me to get high with them or get me in trouble. They weren't those people. And that's what I needed, is I needed a complete life change. So in volunteering here, I started talking to the staff here. And they also suggested I become a recovery coach. I hummed and hawed about it for a while. And then I started being serious about it. I got the information. I started reading up on it. And I realized that helping people through some of the darkest times they will ever have is something I really feel like I'm meant to do. I didn't feel that way initially because I was looking at it as a closed-minded individual, right? And my story is not unique. Like, we all have experiences and problems and traumas. Like, I just let mine consume me. The trick is to not let it and to go about things with a positive mindset. Like, you can make it past these things. Of course you can. You've probably been through worse. I have. So now, currently, I'm on day 4 of my RCA training, Recovery Coach Academy training. 4 days out of 5. Tomorrow, I'll be a recovery coach. It's kind of crazy to think about, but it's true. And then, that isn't, my story's not going to end there, right? Because there are other classes I'm going to take, which will lead to me being able to do more things. And my end goal from going from somebody in active addiction to somebody in active recovery to somebody that wants to become a drug and alcohol counselor, because that's my end goal, to become a drug and alcohol counselor, to help people who don't think there's anybody there to help them, who don't think anybody can relate. I'm that guy because I felt that same way. And if I can do it, absolutely anybody else can do it. You gotta love yourself a little bit. You gotta put yourself first instead of your habits and your demons and all of these negative things. You need to look at yourself in the mirror and you need to learn to love that person. Because when that happens, great things start happening, right? Now I have a house. I spend as much time with my daughter as I can. I come to work, I train, I go home. So much different than the life I once led. Would I change my past? No. Because it showed me some stuff. Some things that people shouldn't normally see, but some of us are meant to take that path. I wouldn't change it, but I'm glad I'm where I am at today. Because this is a much better place. And that's my story.